All right, so we have the function f of x equal to x squared where x is less than 1, 2x plus 1 where x is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 3, and -1 where x is greater than or equal to 3. So as you see, we have a piecewise function, and what we're going to be doing is going over how to graph this piecewise function. Now, when it comes to graphing piecewise functions, I recommend paying attention to the conditions or rules that we see on the right side. This is going to really help us and guide us on how to plot everything. Now, what I recommend first is plotting what we call our transition points. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. So our first part of our function is x squared, where x is less than 1. We kind of want to figure out this point where it transitions. We want to see where is it where x is going to be less than 1. Like what point is that going to switch over to the next graph, which is going to be the 2x plus 1. That would be our transition point. Now, to figure that out, what you're going to do is just take the 1 in this case, because it's x less than 1, and you're going to plug it into our first function, which is x squared. And 1 squared is 1. So that would mean the transition point is going to be at 1, 1. And also, it's also important to figure out what kind of hole is this going to be. Is this going to be open or closed? Now, it is a less than sign because it's x less than 1. So what we're going to do is plot an open hole at the point 1, 1. Okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we need to complete the graph. Now, because it's x squared where x is less than 1, we're going to actually complete the graph to the left of this point that we just plotted. And in this case, our graph is x squared. This is a classic quadratic function. And if you struggle with quadratic functions, don't worry. With any function, the best method to do is just create a table of points and then plug it into your function to see what those y values are. We can create a table for this one. Just choose 3 other points. We can choose the point -2, -1, and 0. Plug it into x squared, and when we plug in -2 into x squared, that will give us -2 squared, which is 4. -1 into x squared will give us -1 squared, which is 1, and then 0 squared will give us 0. So we're going to plot the point -2, 4, -1, 1, and 0, 0. And then we will start at our first point and then connect the dots from there. And now we've graphed the first part of our piecewise. Now we're going to go to the next function. We have 2x plus 1, where x is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 3. So we actually have 2 points that this second part of our function is going to be between. So we need to figure out where are those, okay? So to figure out the first point, we have where x is greater than or equal to 1. So what we're going to do is take that 1 and plug it into 2x plus 1. And 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So our first point is going to be at 1, 3. And of course, we need to figure out what kind of hole is this going to be. Is this going to be open or closed? Because it is a greater than or equal to sign, this is going to be a closed hole. So we're going to plot a closed hole at 1, 3. Now the next point is going to be at 3 because it's saying where x is less than 3. So we're going to plug in 3 into 2x plus 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So we're going to have a point at 3, 7. And because it is a less than sign, we're going to plot an open hole at 3, 7. Now, the next thing is we just need to complete the graph between these 2 points because it's basically 2x plus 1, where x is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 3. So it's going to be between these 2 points. And in this case, this is a classic linear function or slope. And remember, to graph a line, you just need 2 points. And we already have those, so we can just connect the dots just like this. Now we'll move on to the last part. We have -1, where x is greater than or equal to 3. So we're going to take that 3 and plug it into our function to figure out where that point is. In this case, it's a constant function, so there's nothing to plug into. So this means that our transition point is going to be at 3, -1. And it is a greater than or equal to sign, so we're going to plot a closed hole at 3, -1. And because this is where x is greater than or equal to 3, what we want to do is finish off the function to the right of our point. And it's just constant, so we're just going to continue a straight horizontal line through y equal to -1, just like this. And now we have just fully graphed this piecewise function. So I hope you found this helpful.